Most people have replaced their washing machine at least once. Many have replaced it twice. A significant number are on their third or fourth machine in the span of 15 years, and every single time the story is the same. A repair quote arrives that is too close to the cost of a new machine to justify fixing it. So a new machine gets bought. The cycle continues. What the appliance industry never volunteers is that this cycle was engineered deliberately. The control boards that fail at year 4, the bearings that give out just after the warranty expires, the proprietary parts that go on back order and never come back. None of that is bad luck. It is a business model. But here is what that industry also never mentions. A handful of washing machines were built before that business model took over. Machines designed by engineers whose only objective was making something that would not break. Those machines are still out there. Some of them are still running after 30 years without a meaningful repair. 5 of them get covered today. Where to find them, what to look for, and why they make every new machine on a showroom floor look like a bad deal. Stay until the end, because number 1 will change the way the entire appliance market looks. Subscribe before this ends and drop a comment letting us know where you're watching from. Number 5 is the Kenmore 70 series, and it starts with a story that modern appliance ownership makes almost impossible to believe. A retired schoolteacher walked into a repair shop with a washing machine that had developed a strange noise. The technician looked it over and found a single worn component, a lid switch. The repair took less than 20 minutes and cost $14. The detail that makes this remarkable is that the machine was 31 years old at the time. It had been running 3 loads every week since the day it was purchased new, and the sum total of every repair dollar spent on it across more than 3 decades was $14. The instinct most people have about a machine this age is that finding parts would be a nightmare. That instinct is wrong. Whirlpool built the Kenmore 70 series on the same mechanical foundation it was using in commercial coin-operated laundromats at the time. The drivetrain has no rubber belt that hardens and cracks over time, no brush assembly that slowly wears down, no electronic control board that shorts out when the weather turns humid. A single plastic coupling transfers power from the motor to the transmission. That is the complete drivetrain. That coupling is also the only part that ever needs replacing, and it costs $20. Compare that to a modern washer, where a control board failure at year 5 generates a repair quote of $350 or more. The entire mechanical system of this Kenmore can be restored to working order for under $30. When shopping for one, look for the 70 or 80 series label and make sure the timer is a rotating mechanical dial rather than any kind of digital display. That dial is confirmation there are no circuit boards anywhere in the machine. Clean working examples sell for between $75 and $200. Picking up a new lid switch and inlet valve at the same time adds around $40 and essentially refreshes the 2 components most likely to show age. This purchase is not about owning an old machine. It is about stepping off the replacement treadmill completely. Number 4 is the GE Filter-Flo, and its reputation among people who repair appliances professionally is almost completely unknown to the people who actually buy washing machines. A 1979 Filter-Flo was picked up at an estate sale for $60 by someone who then used it as their main household washer for the next 11 years. The machine was already old when it was purchased. Across those 11 years of daily use, one thing needed fixing: an inlet valve. $22.20. That was it. The complete repair record of a machine that was decades old before the clock even started. The feature that makes buyers hesitate about the Filter-Flo is the lint filter inside the tub that has to be cleaned by hand after each load. That step feels like extra work until the reason for it becomes clear. That filter is what keeps debris away from the pump, stops the motor from overworking against a partial blockage, and keeps the drain line clear across the entire lifespan of the machine. It is protective maintenance built directly into the design. The agitator runs off a 2-speed transmission built to commercial specifications with heavier construction, tighter engineering tolerances, and clutch components rated for industrial workloads rather than typical household ones. That difference in build quality is what separates a machine with 10 years left in it from one with 40. Before buying a Filter-Flo, check the manufacture date on the back and confirm it falls between 1970 and 1989, with earlier units being the more reliable choice. Look carefully at the seam running along the bottom of the inner tub. Any rust on the outside cabinet is purely cosmetic and does not affect performance. Rust at that inner seam is a different matter entirely, as it signals prolonged water contact and structural damage to the drum. If the seam looks clean and the agitator moves freely, that machine is worth buying. Working units sell for between $80 and $250. Clean the lint filter consistently, and that machine will keep running long after everything on a showroom floor today has been replaced twice. Number 3 is the Maytag Dependable Care, produced between 1985 and 2000, and it draws a line in appliance history that is worth understanding clearly. A 1993 Maytag LAT 9304 sold at a garage sale for $45, and then ran for 11 more years of regular household use without a single repair call. 0. The bad reputation Maytag has accumulated over the years is real, but it belongs entirely to the machines produced after Whirlpool took over the brand and changed the underlying engineering. Everything built before that acquisition is a different machine with a completely different track record. The original Dependable Care used a cast iron transmission with no upper limit on cycle count built into the design. A current residential washer uses a plastic gear housing rated for roughly 500 cycles before wear starts becoming a factor. The distance between those two standards explains everything. When evaluating one for purchase, a mechanical dial timer is the first thing to confirm. Then, remove the agitator cap and look at the agitator dogs, the small plastic teeth that drive the wash action. A full set costs $12. If the agitator rotates freely in both directions under light hand pressure, those dogs are worn and need replacing, which is a 30-minute job. A Dependable Care washer in good condition typically sells for between $100 and $300, which is a significant undervaluation given what the drivetrain actually represents. Number 2 is the Whirlpool Direct Drive platform, built from around 1982 through the early 2000s and sold under several different brand names, including Kenmore, Roper, and Estate. A 1988 Whirlpool top loader was passed down through a family and ended up being used for heavy-duty work laundry twice a day for 9 consecutive years. When the motor finally gave out, the replacement part cost $67. The machine went straight back into service and has been running ever since. What made the Direct Drive platform different was a deliberate decision to remove complexity rather than add it. Every component in the previous generation of belt-driven washers that represented a failure risk was eliminated. No belt, no pulley system, no tensioner hardware. The motor connects directly to the transmission through a single coupling, producing a drivetrain with 6 moving parts in total. A modern front-loading washer contains more than 40. That increase is not progress. It is 40 additional things waiting to go wrong. Look for model numbers starting with LA, LXR, or WTW, and run a full cycle before committing to purchase. The sound should be a low, even hum with nothing else underneath it. A replacement coupling costs $9. If there is grinding during agitation, that is both the diagnosis and the complete repair cost. Clean examples sell for between $75 and $200. Replace the coupling at purchase, regardless of how the machine sounds, and then stop thinking about laundry room appliances. Number 1 is the Speed Queen top loader, specifically the commercial residential models made before 2018. No other washing machine brand has ever come close to what Speed Queen has maintained across its entire production history. Every other manufacturer eventually found the compromise point where cost reduction won over engineering integrity. Speed Queen never did. A property manager ran Speed Queen machines in a coin-operated laundromat for 16 years. When that chapter ended, 2 of the machines came home for residential use. Each one had logged over 25,000 wash cycles in a commercial environment. The repair record for both machines across the full 16 years of laundromat operation was a single door latch. The reason that record exists is not luck. Speed Queen uses the exact same transmission, the same stainless steel tub, and the same belt and brake components in its home machines as in its commercial laundromat equipment. There is no consumer-grade version of the part. There is no adapted specification for the residential market. The same component comes off the same production line and goes into both machines. TR5 and TC5 series models are the ones worth finding. Check the belt carefully along its full length for any cracking at the edges, and press it firmly to confirm it pushes back with resistance. A TR5 or TC5 in solid working condition is worth $600 without any further deliberation needed. Here's what that investment actually means in practice. Someone buying a $1,400 smart washer today will likely face an $800 repair inside 5 years, and then replace the machine entirely within 10. That is $2,200 spent over a decade with nothing durable to show for it. The Speed Queen bought today will still be washing clothes when its 3rd-generation replacement is already showing fault codes. Planned obsolescence, discontinued firmware, control boards that cannot be sourced 2 years after the model stops shipping. None of that is part of this machine's story. These 5 washers were built when the goal was simply to make something that lasted. The touchscreen on a modern washer is not a feature. It is the reason the machine needs replacing. Until next time, happy washing.